I can hear you all
Mr.
right.
Robby Johnson.
Hey.
How about welcome to the show?
Thanks for having me on your show.
We are so glad that you was able to come on, and like I said, we've been playing your music here for several weeks, and once I found him, like, we got to get this guy on the show because your music is just rocking.
Thank you so much. Thanks for playing my music. Thanks for getting the word out there to the people because, I mean, it's a product, and if nobody hears about it, they don't know it exists. So thank you for spreading the word and getting it out there because people make it happen. Really, it's. I mean, I could be singing all day long if there's not a crowd, nothing's happening.
Okay,
That's true.
are we on the screen?
That's
now?
true.
Are we on the
Got a
screen
good
now?
audience, though.
There we go. We should be up now. So
We'll give it just a second.
there we go. Yes. We had a blank screen for a minute. Just had to click the right button. So I told everybody, I know it was obvious when I talked to you, then you're originally from Canada, right?
Yeah, originally from Canada, the French part of Canada, Quebec.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, when I was a kid, you know, my grandparents lived in Hartford, Connecticut, and my aunts and uncles. And so I would spend all my summers in Hartford, and also every long weekend, the holidays would be in Hartford. So that's where I fell in love with the American culture, you know, the music, the movies, the sitcoms, everything, MTV. And it was always, I mean, it's always been a part of me, the music in the background. I didn't know back then how important it was to me until, you know, later in life, but music has always been there. It was really important because, you know, I grew up in poverty and didn't have much. So I was practically raised by the sitcoms back then. You know, they had such great values, you know, don't steal, don't lie, don't do drugs. Don't. So, yeah, and I found my role models in there, you know, movies and all that and the music. So, yeah, I mean, it's, I got to say, I was raised by American culture.
Wow.
And going back home in Quebec, you know, French speaking, I wouldn't watch, you know, French speaking television, or I wouldn't watch the movies in French. I would, you know, we'd continue with the brothers, continue watching everything in English. So yeah, that's, and for me to be in Nashville, you know, moving here, starting my career in Nashville was a way for me to give back. Because I don't know where I'd be if it weren't for all of that.
That is awesome. Now, as far as falling in love with music, do you come from like a musical family or?
I do have, you know, I have an older brother that plays guitar, classical guitar. He's really, really good, way better than me. And you know, there are a few in the you know, relatives and all that, but not a direct, you know, musical family. Well, I'm saying that, but we are kind of a musical family. I have another brother that picked up a guitar later in life and now plays guitar. So yeah, we love music.
When did you start playing guitar?
It wasn't growing up, you know, like I work with Danny Rader, and Danny, he's, you know, he plays with Kenny Chesney. He's going to be, you know, playing the Sphere with Kenny and all that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Been on tour with him. He's toured with Keith Urban, Jason Aldean. I mean, the guy's an amazing player, but he grew up in a musical family. I think he started playing drums. He was like 4. He couldn't reach the pedals. You know, it's crazy. That's not my story. And the guy's really good.
Well, when did you first pick up the guitar?
I picked up my brother's guitar when I was a kid. And then I had my own guitar. Someone gave me a guitar, and I would fool around with it. And then, it's crazy, I was working at somewhere as a sales rep, and I went behind and I started fooling around and I cut the tip of my fingers on a circular saw.
Oh,
it was horrible. I mean, and it's crazy because, you know, more than a quarter inch of my fingers, it was gone. It was really gone. And you can still see it. And for years, it was so sensitive. Just touching the tip of my finger would hurt. So there was no way I was going to play guitar. But at one point, I was like, okay, you'll get over this. And I just continued playing and playing until, you know, the feeling stopped. You know, train your brain to go with it. You know, but it was so painful. It was crazy. So that paused me for quite some time. But then I'm like, no, I really want to do this. So I started playing again.
Well, Uncle Alex there, he can relate to you.
I lost
He's got half a digit missing too.
of my index finger, so I cannot hold a note.
Oh.
I was like, the middle finger is fused, and the rest is history.
I can't even imagine. I know my brother, when he was learning how to play guitar, he would just sit for hours until his fingers were just blistered and bleeding,
Even
and
the vibration through the strings.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I can't imagine how painful that was. I tried to play one time and decided it hurt too much, and I was done. I was a wimp. I couldn't take it.
And people don't realize it's not only that. Your hand has to deform. There are some chords that with a regular hand, if you've never played guitar, no matter what, you're never going to be able to do those chords.
Reach up there to do
your hand
Yeah.
needs to get wider, and your fingers become kind of parallel. It's so spooky, and you get this from playing years and years of guitar playing, and you get that.
I attempted, and I could not get my hand to do the funky things, and I gave up on it.
I took lessons and then
Well,
said,
it
give
comes
up.
with time.
Yeah.
It really comes with time.
Well, that's one thing I say. I can't sing. I can't play an instrument. I says, when it comes to music, I hit play. So that's why I'm a DJ.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can learn to sing. Really, it's just. Have you heard? It's crazy. It's Ed Sheeran.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Plays,
Oh, heck, yeah.
yeah, he plays his first demos, and oh my God, his voice is really what it is
It's
today.
bad.
Just to prove that if you practice, you get better at it, and
Yep.
that's how it works. But yeah, some people have more practice to do than others.
Well, hey, we've got a question. We've got some listeners up there in Canada, and
Really?
Oh, yeah. We have
Oh,
several
yeah.
Canadian listeners. Our producer, Monica, who's always listening, she's up there in Canada.
she's in Muskoka, Ontario,
Okay.
and she says, which part of Quebec?
Quebec.
I know, but I'm supposed
Well,
to say
yeah,
it,
it's supposed to be
Quebec.
Quebec. Yeah.
Which part of Quebec are you from?
Quebec.
Well, I was born in north of Quebec, Abitibi, with with the reindeers.
With the reindeer.
I love
That's
it.
really up north, and then I moved a little further south, but my parents divorced. I was 5, and I really started a new me, a new life. At 5 years old, I started a new Robby. So I don't really remember. So really, I feel like I come from La Beauce, which is right next to Maine border. And I was about, I would say 45 minutes away from Maine border. So we were getting
wow.
closer to my relatives that live in Hartford, Connecticut. Because my mom, she had started her family, and so that's why she stayed in Quebec. But all, my aunts and uncles, my grandparents, they moved to Hartford. So we were really close, and I feel like that's my hometown. It's St. Elizabeth, yeah.
I'm not far from you. I was born and raised in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, which is French Canadian, but we were from Calgary and Saskatchewan. So that's the other side of Canada.
So, well,
You're right around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, it actually, Hartford, yeah. But
So
I'm
when did
here
you-
in Ooltewah.
yeah. So when did you make the trip to Nashville?
Okay, so it's crazy because I had a life. I was a sales rep on the road. I've done so many different jobs. I was a family guy, taking care of the house, the above ground swimming pool, the lawn and everything, fixing stuff around the house. But I would always sing original songs, that I would write just for the fun of it. But I never considered myself really an artist or a singer. But my wife, back then girlfriend, was like, you got to hear yourself sing. I mean, there's something there.
Aw.
So one Christmas, she passed the hat in the family, and she gave me this demo session in a studio where I could cut one of my songs.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
And I thought it was the worst Christmas gift ever.
wow.
Yeah, you're always your
There's
worst
a
critic.
Yeah, there's a video of me, getting the gift, and you can see everybody around is all this is the greatest gift ever. And I opened the letter and like, oh, okay, thank you, wow. But I guess I needed that push, and oftentimes in my life, that's what happens to me. I need that little push. It's as if deep down inside, I kind of knew it, but didn't want to face it. I said, every time I say never, it always happens.
Sounds like somebody else sitting there.
Never say never.
Never say never. I'm never going to be a sales rep on the road. Guess what? I was a sales rep on the road. I'm never going to be a waiter in a restaurant. I was a waiter. I was a busboy. I worked in so many different places, all the fast food chain you can name. I worked there. And so I was like, no, I'm never going to be an artist. But I guess I was scared or something. It's a big leap, to say, hey, I'm an artist, I'm a singer, songwriter, and this is what I'm doing. Because you can be judged very, very, very quickly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I found, like I've told her, is, when you're in a position of security, it is very, very hard to take a leap of faith into the unknown. And,
Exactly.
So I get it all the time from her. She's always on me about doing something. But so your wife is the one we can thank you for being able to hear you on the radio and the great music that you're putting out.
Exactly. And it started, and it's funny because I went to the studio with my father-in-law and I decided to do a feel-good country rock song. I'll be there rocking and rolling. And here I am today, rocking and rolling. But, it's funny because I went to the studio. It was like, okay, let's just be done with this. I wasn't, going there to cut a hit record or something or start a career. It was really because it's a gift and, let's just do this.
Experience.
The band, the players were like, hey, wait a minute. Who are you? What are you doing here? You should be in Nashville. So that's how it kind of started, hearing myself for the first time on a record. That was pretty cool, and realize that, my music could change people's lives and be the in the background, of their lives, and being the soundtrack, kind of like what I was going through as a, younger and in my life where music was really important. I was like, wow, maybe I could do this for others.
Yeah.
So it's a way for me to give back. And so it took that little day in the studio. And then I put it on the internet. And then Tom Roach, who worked with the Osmond, was like, hey, you really got something, Robby. And I want you should go to Nashville and I'll hook you up with Jimmy Nichols.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Jimmy Nichols, he's amazing session player. A touring player. He toured with Faith Hill, Reba McEntire. He was the band leader. The guy's insane, insanely talented. And so I started going back and forth to Nashville, meeting with Jimmy, and then hooked up with his buddy Frank Myers, who won a Grammy for I Swear. Mm-hmm. That little song.
Yeah, that little song. Yeah.
Yeah, a little song that you can hear from time to time in movies.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool. But then the leap was really one point I sat down with Jim Catino, who was the big A&R at Sony Music Nashville. So I'm on the row in his office, and he explains to me, Robby, there's thousands of artists that come to Nashville and leave. Every year it's like 3,000 artists come and go. And he was like, we can't help everybody. It's impossible. So we help people that fully commit, where they're not here to try. They're here to do it. It's their plan A, it's plan B, it's their only plan is to make it. And that's when we decided to move the whole family to Nashville. And that was at the very beginning, I would say. So I really started my career in Nashville.
Wow.
Very good. And it seemed like that it was just meant to be with the people that got put in your path to get you where you were fairly quickly.
Yeah, oftentimes it feels like stars aligned, and sometimes the total opposite. But stars align, and it just all worked out great. But some days, you're down, you're on your couch, and you're like, life is telling you to quit. all the signs are telling you to quit. And then 6 months later, you're on the Late Show with David Letterman presenting you and performing your first single. So it's crazy.
And you have toured with the who's who of country music, it seems like.
I mean, I'm fortunate. I'm thankful. I had the great privilege to open for Keith Urban. That was insane. 35,000
I can't even imagine.
And I gotta say, yeah, and like I was saying earlier, it wasn't like a dream where I was 5 years old and I knew I was going to be an artist. It wasn't like that. And so it's not like I started, playing in the bars as soon as I could and doing the bar scene. And it wasn't like that. I had a totally different life. And so my first gig where it's not, singing in front of family or it's really, people hiring me to do a show was opening for Keith Urban in front of 35.
Dang.
I mean, that's huge.
When you go for it, you go big, don't you?
Yeah. Raising French, you'd have to do performance every Sunday or Christmas or whatever. I was like,
yeah. Coming from sales, the sky's the limit when you're in sales. And I had that approach. And it's funny because Frank and Jimmy kept telling me, Robby, it's a process. You're not going to be on the radio. You're certainly not going to be on TV. And then a year and a half later, I'm on the Late Show. So it was pretty crazy.
Well, you already had the background because you're still in sales. You're just selling yourself now.
That's right.
I got to say this. It's funny because, my wife, she saw that I wasn't really happy in what I was doing. Sales rep on the road. So that's why, the demo session, the Christmas gift. And I was like, yes, the amount of sales.
I'm sorry, maybe I missed something. What were you selling?
I'm the product now. I'm the product.
Yeah, that's right.
I can't go back home and say, oh, this product sucks.
No, pretty much.
And I'm selling 24/7 now. It's not, it's not like a
There's no clocking
day
out.
a week. It's 24/7 now. Yeah.
Now, with your songs, are you writing all your music or co-writing or what?
When I started, I would do some co-writes, with two other writers in the room. Was pretty, new to that co-writing thing. I would always write by myself and I was kind of good, not as good as Frank Myers or Anthony Smith, but doing more and more. And I did cut some outside songs from triple play writers, like Ashley Gorley, who's like the top songwriter of all time in Nashville, 80 #1 hits, and he's going to have more. I'm guessing he's going to end up with 300. He's so good. But so I and COVID forced me to write on my own because we couldn't get together and all that. So I started really writing on my own, and I really enjoyed it and feeling like, hey, this is truly me. Because the way I write, I just grab the guitar or piano and I just start fooling around, with a chord progression, and then I just let it out. And so it comes from me. And well, I think it comes from me because sometimes I feel like the song already exists and I just find it. And so that's how I work. But then I get together with Danny Rader that I mentioned earlier. He's, my producer. I co-produce with him. So I go with Danny, we sit down, I start playing my song, he charts it, and then we go over the song. He will, challenge the lyrics, like, I don't really understand what you're going to say, and then we tweak it together. He will, make a new arrangement, the chord progression, we'll change some chords here and there, the key and all that. So he becomes a co-writer, and sometimes he's a real co-writer where, I come up with a chorus and he comes up with a, crazy melody and verse, and we just work from there. So most of my recent stuff, after COVID is I write it and then we finish it. We finish the songs together.
That's pretty cool.
That's how I do it.
I'm experiencing that for the first time by myself. Was like you talk about getting that push, and I always like to write short stories or write thing, and she kept pushing me. She's like, why don't you just write? Because I always said I admire the songwriters of how the stories that you were able to tell. And I wish I had that ability. And she's like, you do it all the time. You write stories. And I'm like, but I can't do that. And she says, you can't? So I wrote down what was on my mind at one day, and I'm working with a singer-songwriter, and I'm experiencing that exchange back and forth, the suggestions, changing this, and even though I don't play any music, I'm in the process of writing a song, so I understand it. So I guess if it never goes anywhere or nothing but that, I can understand the process that you guys go through. So it is pretty cool.
And the trick is it has to be conversational. And, the greats is because they find the melody that gives the emotion and with the words they're using, because if you're saying something and your intonations, your pauses, and your accents are not in the right place, people won't get the emotion. Even if you cry, you pour your heart out, if the melody doesn't follow speech, people won't get it. You can listen to a song in Spanish and you will feel what the singer is saying. Even if you don't understand the language, you will feel the emotion because they're using the right melody, intonations, and all that. So it's really important for it to be conversational where it makes sense. When you ask a question, it's not like when you make an affirmation. You don't use the same, it's not the same melody when you speak. So it has to be that in songwriting. And I think the greats, they just let it out, and it's just a conversation. So it's even closer to natural conversation, how it should sound, So that's really interesting.
Well, and speaking of that, you have a new single you're just now releasing, right?
Yeah, I have a new single. It's coming out February 7th, and it's titled TGIF, or if you prefer, Thank God It's Friday, and it's a love song for Valentine's Day.
Oh.
Perfect timing.
Well, it just happens to be. We have that song. So is it okay if we go ahead and debut it?
Yeah, and pay real attention to the lyrics. As I said, it's a love song, but there's a twist to it, so you got to pay attention to the lyrics.
All right. Do you want to introduce it?
Right, so this is my new song that's coming out February 7th. Guys, go check it out. There's links in my social to pre-save it, and it's titled Thank God It's Friday. It's an anthem. You'll understand when you listen to it.
All right, we're going to put you back in the green room, and we're going to hit play, all right?
All righty.
Shuffle and spin her around. I'll pretend that I'm friends with her friend and honor that ring on my hand. But then I'll step away and sit at the bar, so I'm a catch a buzz and rise to the stars. Thank God it's a Friday. Friday night, and I'm gonna let it go down my way tonight. You know it's Monday, we're pouring down and drinking down this world we call it. Thank God it's a Friday night, 'cause I've been waiting on you. Thank God it's a Friday night, 'cause I've been waiting on you.
All right. How about that?
Love it.
I'm going to tell you what,
Thanks so much.
they're going crazy over here in our chat.
Yes, they are.
They are
Yeah,
digging
it's
that.
actually a the Skies drinking anthem. It's love for my beer.
That's fabulous.
My way.
Well, Lou was over here just jamming out and did, you know.
That's the perfect single awareness day song.
She calls it that because she was single for a very long time until she could come upon me. So.
I almost gave up, man.
There's hope.
Man.
What's cool about country music is, you can go really, really deep in the song, be very emotional, but you also can be, light and sing about beer, because country is about everyday life.
Yep.
And people to drink beer and really enjoy it. So I love country music for that.
That is awesome. So is there a story behind it, or?
Well, it's just I just let it out, I guess. I don't know. I don't know where. Like I said, sometimes it comes out, and I feel like the song already existed. I just found it, and I just hope people connect and relate to it, and use it on Friday.
Well, there's a lot of people in here that they love the song and they love your voice. So
Yes.
I have a feeling you've just gained several new fans.
Wow, thank you so much, guys.
Well, we appreciate that. So everybody's wanting to know, where are you touring anywhere? Where can they come and see you live?
Okay, so my next gig is at CRS. I'm going to be doing a 15-minute showcase, something more of acoustic. So I'm doing that on a Friday, and I'm going to be singing. Thank God it's Friday.
That's
for the
cool.
First time
That is
live
awesome.
in front of people, and all the radio people is going to be there. A lot of industry people as well. So that's going to be cool. It's at the Omni in Nashville.
Yeah, we got. I don't know. We didn't apply to go this year, did we?
We did not, but I really want to go.
Shame.
We
So,
might just
yes,
head
I'm
over.
doing that, and then I want to get out there, and I hope there's people over there that can help me out, because it's tough getting on the road when you're an indie.
Yep.
When you're signed to a big management firm or a major label, then they will put you, they will make you open for other acts, and you tour. But it's when you're an indie, it's a lot harder to get out there, because it's really expensive, the band, the travel, and doing all that. So, but I'm hoping that it's going to happen, because, be me by myself, rocking, jamming, with my guitar, nothing happens. You guys make it happen, and when you're at a live show, you're not just witnessing a show, you are part of the show. You're as important, if not more important, than what's happening on stage. Because, like I said, by myself, nothing happens. It's when there's a crowd, when there's people, we create the moment together. And the more
I love
you
that.
give, the more I give back. And it's really a teamwork. You cannot have one without the other. So I can't wait to go out there, because, being in the moment on stage with the band, with the crowd, that's the best feeling ever. It will top any highlights in my career.
Now, do you have a website where everybody can keep track, and so when you do post that you're out there, where they can find it?
So They can look on social media. Very simple. Robby Johnson Music. It's Robby with a Y, Robby Johnson Music. So that's my handle for pretty much every social media. And then my website, it's robby-johnson.com, and they can find me on my website. And there's links to the music and all that.
That is awesome. Is there anything, any questions out there? I'm trying to see if there was any more coming in there.
I actually had a couple questions. So,
Michelle, he is married.
no, she said married or single. Great song.
Oh, okay.
Don't be getting her in trouble with the bodyguard over there.
Hey, that's my girlfriend.
Well, I was,
So you're not touring anywhere yet. Do you have somebody who's helping you get things set up? Or are you kind of doing it on your own? Because we have some good places here in Chattanooga. So
yeah, I have a few people in my
Good.
corner that help me out and all that. It's just that it's touring. It's tough, to get out there
Yeah.
and front the money to do that. You need sponsors and backers, but we're working hard to get this
good.
ball rolling, and Scott Sexton, my post, he's been really helpful. And yeah, I mean, it's just, doing the show and someone just discovering me and saying, hey, I want to help this guy.
That's right.
That's how it worked. Yeah.
Well, if you're
many careers, happened like that. Luke Combs. I mean, there's so many examples. Artists, Jason
gotta be
Aldean,
discovered.
he was at his last showcase. He was like, okay, I'm doing this and then I'm done. I'm going back home. And at the very last showcase, Mr. Brown of Broken Bow saw him. Is like, hey, I'm signing this guy. He's going to be huge. And
Yeah.
he's huge, pretty huge.
It really is all about being at the right place at the right time with the right person
Yes.
to see you. So, yeah, we're
Exactly.
excited to see what comes for you because you've got a great voice, really talented, a lot of fun to listen to. So, yeah, we're excited to see where it happens. And I got to tell you, Scott has been great to work with to set this up. So you've got some good people in your corner.
Great. Yeah.
Well, if you're ever down around Chattanooga area, we're here. Let us know. Heck, in the TropRock and the coastal world, house concerts are a big thing. Let us know. We'll figure out and have a house concert or something. Get you in front of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be,
That's a big thing.
It doesn't matter how many people. I mean, it's always great. And, huge crowds is kind of fun, like, oh my God, there's 35,000 people. But I like when I see everybody and see their reactions. So smaller crowds are really cool too.
Yeah, definitely let us know. We've been known to have some house concerts with, anywhere from 20 to 50 people and just the artist sitting up there. We charge a cover for him to come in and all the money goes to the artist. And feel free. Let us know if you're going to be in the area.
Yeah, I will.
All right.
And if you're not, I know, we're always trying to make trips over to Nashville, CMA Fest. We're always over there during the week of CMA Fest to see people and everything. So if not, hopefully maybe we can reach out and hook up with you over there in Nashville during that week if you're still there.
Yeah. I'm here, CMA Fest. I performed at CMA in the Fanfare X before and do the autograph signing booth and all that. So, yeah, that would be great.
That's awesome. So is there anything else that you want everybody to know about you that we haven't covered?
Well, I keep on releasing new music. I release a new song every 6 to 8 weeks. So there's, Thank God It's Friday. Before that, I had Road I'm On. A bunch of songs that I released. I'm working on some new music. I was in the studio actually today singing new songs, and I'm thinking the following one. I'm staying in the bar. It's titled "If Bar Stools Could Cry," and it's not a ballad. It's not a tearjerker. It's really an up-tempo song. But yeah, I can't wait for everybody to hear the new stuff.
Well, I can tell you the first song that I heard of yours that you caught my ear was "Happened on a Boat," and from there I'm like, all right. So, hey,
I love. Yeah.
that fit right
That was
in.
a good song.
It fits right in with the crowd we have here because everybody here likes to have a good time. They like the lake, they like the beach, and so that was just like the perfect song. And but they like good music, and that's why we're a coastal Americana radio station, but good music is good music. It doesn't care what tag you want to put on it, and that's why you pretty much hear just about everything here. And the station was built on independent artists, and we stick to that. To about 90% of what you hear here is independent artists and trying to promote the artist and get the music out there because it is getting tougher and tougher for an independent artist. I know I just heard today that Spotify made a deal with the Universal, and I was told that that's going to actually make it even harder for the indies to get their music pushed out there.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about it for hours. Major labels always find a way to, control what gets out there for some reason. When Spotify started, you had those huge independent playlists where you had a shot at, sending that to the curator, and he would, if he likes your music, he puts you on there. But the labels went ahead and they bought all those huge playlists, and they put, of course, their music on it. So I mean, it's tough. It's tough, and it's tough because sometimes people, they don't know about this and they judge by the Spotify numbers.
Right.
And they're like, well, there's this new artist. He's already at 5 million streams on a song. Well,
somebody paid for that
because he was placed on a bunch of huge playlists.
Yep.
Not so it's not the same game. I'm not playing the same game. I'm not, I'm in a totally different arena.
Well, the nice thing is that with social media, you got control, and you can attract people to you and not have to rely on that.
Well, that's not true because social media, it's an algorithm and it's controlled. So sometimes
that's true.
Even sometimes you try and they make money out of advertisement. So sometimes I will post something to my people that like me or my followers, and they don't even receive it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You got to put a twist on it.
So there's some things going on behind the scenes.
Always.
They're here to make money, so it's but still, like TikTok is still quite independent from the major labels. So there's a chance if someone picks up Thank God It's Friday and makes a video where it's Friday and all that and the theme, and it goes viral, then that would be awesome. It's a way to break.
It just may get done.
We've been known to do things like that once in a while.
Because I will tell you, we had a segment that we did for a long time, and I still throw them in here from time to time. I'm like, I'll play a new song, and I'm like, this is my TikTok talent. And I'm finding all these amazing artists on TikTok. And matter of fact, the first one we ever found come out, he was right here from Chattanooga, and that was Brandon Davis. We had him on the show. But we have several artists that we locate on TikTok, and we reach out and say, hey, we love your music and love what you do. And so I'm hoping that continues, so that at least there is that. But that's what I told I felt that still makes what we do, I think, even more important, because we're pushing the independents out there. We're streaming in 30 different countries and all over YouTube. So our job is to get that music out there so that people know who you are, and that's why it goes in rotation. We play it, and hopefully you do attract that crowd and that fan base to where you're out there and people come out and meet you.
Now you have a mission.
Yes, that would be great. I mean, that's the favorite, because I've toured in the past. I've done a few summer tours, and actually meeting the fans after the show, the meet and greet and the autographs. That's my favorite moment of the show. And I miss the party with the band right after the show. But it's fine. I love this. I spent hours signing autographs after shows, and I just enjoy it. Because people share. That's why you make music, is to change people's lives. So when they come up to you and they tell you, "Hey, I was in a dark place and you saved my life," wow. I mean, yeah, that's why we do this.
Exactly. And as a fan, as a listener, that has always been, I love some of the, the bigger names and things like that. But to go to a concert, I would much rather go to a show that I know that the artist is going to see me, and that I can maybe meet the artist and talk to them afterwards and share those stories like you're talking about. Those kind of shows, that's where you really gain your fan base, I think. And so those artists who are willing to take that time to go out there and meet people and really let the people share their stories with them, it means just as much, if not more, to them as it does to you, I'm sure.
That's exactly how Taylor Swift did it. She was opening for major artists, and before the show, she would just go in the crowd and give, the 8x10s and say, "I'm Taylor Swift. I'm going to be playing tonight." In the parking lot, in the in the lobby or whatnot, and she would just talk to people and introduce herself. And look at Taylor Swift now. She's one of the biggest stars in the world.
She's got a borderline cult of her own.
Yeah.
The Swifties is no joke.
Yeah, no, don't fool with the
They are
Swifties.
very loyal. Trust me. Our daughter is one of them. So you don't even think anything negative about Taylor, and she'll about bite your head off. So.
Yeah.
Well, you gonna say something? Good.
Oh, no, that's all right. Go ahead.
All right. Well, Robby, I want to let you, we've had you on here for a while. I don't want to keep you your whole night tied up, but we definitely appreciate you coming on and letting us get to know you, get to know your music. And like I said, I'm confident you just gained a bunch of new fans. They're going to be looking out for where you're at. And
We have the best listeners in the world. They'll be sharing your music, I'm sure.
Thank you so much, guys.
And
It means a lot because, like I said earlier, they're the ones that make it happen. They're the stars of the show. I'm not doing this on my own. They make it happen. So thanks.
Well, I can tell you the little promo page that I sent you that you had, that page is on TikTok with Get Her Done attached to it, actually. So your music is on there, and there may be some more. So
Thank you so much.
well, thank you. We're going to let you fly. We appreciate you, and hopefully we'll be in touch and see you again soon.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks,
right.
Robby. Have a great night.
All right. Take care.